Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Premier Pundits podcast. It's a special edition, and I am so glad to be joined by my esteemed co-host here. It's Inge Clausen, a gentleman that I've been working with and dealt with for a number of years now. He describes himself as a complex systems physiology specialist with over 30 years experience. Inge, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm very good here down in Bayern. It's minus 10 degrees, but that's no problem for a Viking. But it's very nice to see you again, Ben.
Yeah. Look, Inge, we spoke on many occasions before. You've done a previous podcast. This is something a little bit new. And like I say, we had the idea again of just touching base. But before we sort of go into specifics, could you tell us just a little bit more about, your experience and what a complex system therapist, expert, authority actually does and is?
Yeah. We have to think a little bit about the old way medicine is looking at the human organism, and they see it as a lot of pieces working independent of each other. And they also see it like feeling doesn't influence us. They also see that we all are the same. That's the model. The tradition I come from, we didn't believe in this model. It's a Norwegian model. And we look at the whole system, the human organism. What happened to us early in life, maybe even inside the belly of the mama, and who made our performance frame. Okay, we were looking into how does we restore ourselves. Common people understands I have to sleep. Okay, what am I doing when I'm sleeping? I'm laying down flat. So it's the only position which, and this we have studied, that the restoration can happen. Okay, it's pretty good when we're sleeping, but it's even possible to make it 10 times stronger if we put ourselves in the same position as the newborn baby. Everybody out there, if you want to do restoration, just lay like the newborn baby with the 90 degrees, and the organism itself starts restoration. It doesn't happen because for hundreds of millions of years, we have been a crawling organism. We just stood up in the last quarter, and then 50% of my power is used to keep me standing. If I'm standing too long, I'm dying. So any restoration, any change to get hold of the power you have inside, or to fully clear the head and the body, has to happen when you're laying down, and we call it human basic restoration position. If you don't use this, it's crap.
Yeah. And just for those who are maybe a little bit skeptical of just listening to this video, Inge, your clientele list, is like a who's who of some of the world's top level athletes, Major League Baseball, athletes in Tour de France, drivers in the Dakar Rally, the Austrian national team. You've worked with players at Everton Football Club, Seamus Coleman. You have Manchester City, as one of your clients. Is this type of work that you're doing, is that accepted now within the mainstream, or have you seen a shift more in recent times to maybe go down this complex systems route where maybe it was, maybe wasn't considered or maybe dismissed previously?
Yeah, you can see that everybody who has common sense understand that we are one organism. But all the guys working in the teams everywhere had an education when it's all reductionism. So you can't blame them in a way that they've been misinformed about what's really going on. And when I come into these medical teams, then they always give me the most hopeless cases. And then, as you know, it takes, with Seamus, he was nothing, and in 2 weeks he was man of the match. And the same in City. They give me the guy they want to send away with a hamstring injury with a big knot. And then we have to think, okay, what is this hamstring thing really? It's suppressed aggression. When I'm angry, I'm tightening the belly and I'm tightening the ass. Okay. I put him on the bench in this position and then coming up by itself. What's his problem? Yeah, it was something private with the woman and some jealousy and bam, 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 bam. And then the organism itself took it away. You know, we know that you cannot touch, because any touch, the organism thinks it's an attack. You think about it, if this is the truth, I mean, anybody in complex system understands that if you put your hand in a complex system, something else will be compensated. But then think about all the physios who have to tell them, take your hands away and just be nice to the guy.
Mm. So in your opinion, and this is a very much a hot potato at this moment, we've seen Liverpool suffer their 10th current injury, as well as this hectic fixture schedule, as well as a heavily disrupted pre-season program, as well as the short turnaround between systems. Is, what's happening around COVID, with people being in bubbles and the restrictions of movement, are those stresses, those mental health of the players, is that a major contributing factor, in your opinion, to the number of injuries that we're currently seeing at the moment?
Yeah, because it's like the whole organism has a stress profile. How good do I handle stress? And it's already made when I was little. And in these times, no, it's never been more stress. And 99% of the stress is coming from outside. Very much of it is coming through relational experiences. And a lot of the stress also coming from not having relational experiences. And the problem in the top sports, they don't know how to recover it. And what's happening with more tension in the system, it means they're compensating things, and the biomechanic of your body is feelings. It's your history of relational experiences. Coming in stress. I can give you one example with in these times in the cycling, was also a lot of testing. It was very stressed. And then this rider, he's falling. And then it comes up when I'm working with him that he needed to go home to help his wife because he had got the baby. So it was the total stress of this testing and everything made him so incapable of handling his body, his skills in the cycling. And we see the same in football too. I have players now coming from everywhere where they are totally wasted because of the team doesn't have a restoration method. In fact, it's the opposite. That's maybe what's happening in the team you talked about, that they are measuring the guys all the time, not find out what's wrong. But this measuring is putting a lot of stress on the system. And that's the problem today. What they do have the opposite effect of what's happening. If you look from a complex system, reductionism is poison.
Yeah, and the reason I sort of wanted to chat to you, it was following on from a social media response that you replied to a post that I put out with regards to Callum Wilson. Now, Callum Wilson, the club just announced that suffered a hamstring strain, looks to be around about grade 2, that he could be out for potentially 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
To which you respond, give me 2-3 weeks maximum, and I will have Callum Wilson back on this, the playing pitches for Newcastle. I mean, how would you see your methods would influence such a positive effect on a return to play?
Yeah,
against
we know from proper science, neuropsychoimmunology, that it's possible to accelerate the healing of the organism. It's possible. This is what we do. I've been doing for 60 years. So if I get him, I put him in the position and we start accelerating, take away this, and it's max 2 weeks. Usually he comes back not only more healthy, but like this guy in Manchester City who was coming back, because other things are getting fixed in the same time. Not only the hamstring problem, but his breathing capacity, the contacts he has inside the body, to motor skill, to mental capacity, everything is getting better there. So he came back after 2 weeks and he scored his first 3 goals for City. So this would happen to this guy, and 2 weeks is a long time, but I say 2-3 weeks because I don't know if you have a rupture or whatever it is. But it must happen, and there is no touch, and there is no talking. So that's how fast it goes. You know, it's to be finished, for 30 years, there has been no development in hamstring injury time. And it's why? Because they don't use complex system physiology to do it. Medicine is talking about it's something that the problem you have, it's not from the injury, it's related to something else. Okay, what is it? Okay, I'm quarreling with my girlfriend. She is very unhappy because we have to move from team to team. She's losing all the social contact and all. That's the stress coming into the organism, and this load must be taken away first. That's what we do in the first session. Boom, we take down the whole stress level, activating this system and this was done for 60 years. But you know, it means that, how can I say, something old will fall. And this is what's happening now as I said before, in Spain, the federation is looking into complex systems seriously, and they say it straight out. Sports science has the core assumptions has disintegrated. Yeah.
So you talk about La Liga looking at the complex system, but in terms of maybe the Premier League, and for me, from the outside looking in, would that be a reluctance for those who are well practicing in reductionism methods to seeing this outsider who, you know, is bringing something new to the table that could effectively half return to play, or, you know, address underlying issues which are hampering players, which they're maybe not able to work with? Yeah, do they see your work as a threat? And if you do, how are you able to get over that barrier to obviously, you know?
Yeah, the thing is of course, it's a threat to the medical team, because it means, when I'm honest, look at what they're doing, it has the opposite effect. And the best thing can do is to do nothing and just be nice. All machines and touching and these things just put up the stress level, the protective layers in the organism. So what's happening, I'm being contacted directly by the injured players, and I work with them at home. And when I come back to their homes, I see what is the really problem. Like one player with the wife fully stressed. And then this player, if he's nice, he maybe contact another player in another team, because they don't tell it usually to the same team, because it's such a nice thing he can do. Suddenly he's flying on the pitch, you know. So they don't share it. But it goes outside the teams. Yeah. That's how we're doing. I've been doing this for many years now. Flying to Manchester, going around to the player or to Italy, whatever, Spain, outside the medical team, because it's a big threat to them.
Mm-hmm. And is this something, because obviously in the current restrictions and the lockdown that we're currently in with regards to COVID, is this something that can be done online, you know, through video conferencing?
We can do. I mean, we can do a lot of the work online. I do a lot of it with especially in the Major League Baseball and something in other sports. We can do it online through the videos. It's fully possible, but of course it's much better because I look at the body, I can see the history. What happened to you, Ben? I see what is your problem. What's the challenges? What happened to you and your father? You know. Something like this.
There's a lot of emotional baggage with me and my father, believe you and me.
Yeah. So what it's about is that it takes about 35 minutes now to fully restore any footballer. I mean, in Tour de France, we use 35 minutes to take a fully wasted guy to be fully happy and smiling. So if this had been in one team, and the thing is the player himself, he can learn to do this. I showed him a couple of times, he could do it himself. Boom. And then every day he wakes up and he's happy and he's smiling coming to the training. He doesn't get injured. You saw what happened to Seamus. He played the same number of matches as the keeper. But who don't want to do this? That's the problem.
I think we need to be getting in touch with Newcastle and certainly Callum Wilson, because we need him on the pitch as soon as possible. Inge, it's been absolutely fascinating once again talking to you, my friend. I'm hoping this will be the first of many conversations that we have down the line. But for now, we will put your social media links, your links to your website. And if anybody wants any more information about complex systems and about yourself.
Let me say the last thing, Ben.
Yeah.
It's about the organizing power of feeling. That's the future now.
Organizing power of feeling. That's the future. That's good enough for me, Inge. Listen, fantastic as always. And we'll speak to you soon. Thanks once again, Inge. Thank you. Cheers.
Bye.